It's January 15th, 2026, and the markets have just closed. But if you've been watching silver today, you can feel it. Something's about to snap. A brutal 4% drop in silver in just minutes. A move that triggers stop losses, forces weak hands to sell, and sends retail traders into a panic. But here's the twist. The silver miners, they barely flinched. You heard that right. While silver took a dive, the miners only dropped 1.4%, and by midday, they had nearly recovered. That's relative strength, not weakness. It's the first sign that the official narrative is a lie. And what if I told you this wasn't just another correction? What if this drop was orchestrated, designed to shake out retail investors? There's something bigger at play here, something the mainstream financial media is ignoring. What's happening right now? A silent war in the markets, and tomorrow could change everything. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. The silver market is showing signs of strain, but this isn't an isolated incident. No, this is part of a much larger pattern, a pattern that's been building for months. You've seen it before. Silver rallies, then drops. Investors get nervous. The narrative, it's just a cooling period. But here's the question nobody's asking. Why now? Why does silver drop, but the miners barely react? Why are we seeing these anomalies just as the third Friday of the month approaches, monthly options expiration day? If you've been in these markets long enough, you know what this day means. It's the day when billions in derivative positions either make money or blow up. It's a dangerous day for institutional short sellers. And yet, despite all of this, silver's drop didn't cause the miners to panic. It's almost as if someone is defending that floor, holding it in place. And that, my friend, is exactly why this is different. Something's happening behind the scenes, something you need to understand before it's too late. Here's the claim. Silver miners are being artificially suppressed to protect massive short positions. Now, let me show you the data that backs this up. The silver price is hovering around $91, but the mining stocks, they're acting like silver's still trading around $30. This isn't a simple lag in the market. No, this is something far deeper. You see, the miners are showing an operating leverage trap. They've got fixed costs, labor, equipment, and overhead. But when silver skyrockets to $91, those fixed costs don't change. Their profit margins explode. At $35 silver, their margins were razor thin. At $91, they're off the charts. But despite this, their stock prices haven't budged. So why the disconnect? Why are these stocks still priced as if silver's at $30? This isn't normal. This isn't random. There's a massive disconnect between the metal's price and the value of the companies actually pulling it from the ground. And that's where the suppression comes in. Someone is holding this back, but for how long? Now let's talk escalation. This isn't just a small glitch in the system. No, this is a warning shot. Look back at history and you'll see how similar moments have played out. In 2010 and 2011, silver went parabolic and the miners lagged for months. Then, out of nowhere, they exploded. 200%, 300%, even 1,000% gains for some juniors. It was quick, it was violent, and it took everyone by surprise. And we're setting up for the exact same scenario. The difference now, it's more than just a price rise. This time we've got institutions that are stuck. They've been holding short positions, betting against silver for years, but silver's at $91 now. Those shorts are screaming for a rebound. And here's the thing. This isn't just a price move. This is about financial survival. If the price keeps rising and these shorts get squeezed, it could trigger a cascade of forced buying, a gamma squeeze. When that happens, it's game over for the shorts. The question isn't if this will happen, it's when. And tomorrow, January 16th, could be the day we find out. Here's where things get even more interesting. You remember the 4% drop in silver this morning, right? Well, while that was happening, the miners barely budged. But what happened next tells you everything you need to know. By midday, they had recovered almost everything. That's not retail buying. Retail doesn't move that fast, doesn't have that kind of firepower. This was institutional money stepping in, defending the floor, holding the line. This is the exact moment when the game changes, when the price is being manipulated by someone and they're trying desperately to keep silver below that $92 level. Why? Because if it breaks, the entire house of cards comes crashing down. That's the suppressive mechanism at work. And when it fails, the entire sector could go ballistic. The truth is, these miners are spring-loaded. They've been undervalued for too long, and as soon as the lid comes off, these stocks are going to explode. But what happens next? That's the real question. Now, we're entering what I like to call the mini crisis stack. And let me tell you, things are escalating fast. First, we've got institutional shorts piling on, trying to keep the price down. Then we've got the miners, the actual producers of silver, showing relative strength while silver itself tumbles. And if that wasn't enough, there's the ticking clock of monthly options expiration. January 16th is just hours away. If silver doesn't hold above $90, those massive short positions could blow up in the faces of the banks. That's billions in exposure on the line. This is no longer just a market correction. It's a pressure cooker ready to explode. And the most interesting part, the miners are already in position. They've been quietly accumulating strength while the rest of the market panics. What happens if this continues? The suppression can only last so long. The stage is set for the breakout, but it all hinges on tomorrow. It's all coming to a head. Now let's shift gears for a second. What does all this mean for you? How does this affect ordinary people, not just traders or institutional players? Well, think about it. Right now, you're watching a market that's being manipulated behind closed doors. But what happens when the truth breaks free? When the suppression ends, the miners start their climb, and silver continues its rise. It's going to affect everyone, from the retail investor to the average person just trying to protect their savings. For years, the silver market has been quiet, dismissed by most as a boomer trade, something for the old school investors. But when the miners finally wake up, when the math finally catches up with reality, this is going to be a wake-up call for everyone who's been ignoring the opportunity. And here's where it gets personal. If this feels familiar, if this reminds you of moments where everyone else missed it, drop a comment below. Let me know if this resonates with you, because you're not alone. Something huge is about to unfold. And when it does, it's going to change everything for those who are paying attention. But don't get lost in the outrage. There's a mechanism at play here that most people aren't talking about. It's not just about the banks, the shorts, or the miners. It's about the system itself, the structure that allows all of this to happen. Why is silver being suppressed for so long? The answer is simple. Leverage. The banks, the institutions, they all want control. They want to manipulate the market to protect their massive short positions. But that's not the whole picture. This isn't just about silver. It's about fear, incentives, and the spectacle of it all. These institutions are willing to keep pushing this narrative, keep suppressing the truth, because it works for them. They make money while the rest of us watch. And here's the unsettling part. It's working for now. But the reality is these markets don't last forever. The math, the numbers, they can't be ignored forever. The moment when everything flips is coming. And when it does, the game changes. The smart money knows it. They're waiting for the moment the suppression breaks. And when that happens, it's going to be a lot harder to get in than it is right now. So, what's next? There are two paths forward here, but neither one is guaranteed. Let's start with the first. If the banks lose control, if silver holds above $90 and the miners start to decouple, you're looking at an explosive breakout. These miners will start to catch up fast, prices could surge, and those holding onto positions will be rewarded in a big way. The catch-up rally we've been waiting for could start tomorrow. This is the moment the market reprices these stocks based on reality, not the manipulated paper market. But the second path, if silver falls back below 85 hours, if the suppression continues, and the banks manage to hold on to their shorts, we might see more slow grinding, more hesitation, more frustration for anyone waiting for the breakout. In that case, the market won't be as clear, the volatility will continue, and we'll need to stay patient. Either way, we're at a tipping point. The question is, what will tomorrow reveal? Will the momentum shift, or will the status quo hold for just a little longer? Here's the final takeaway. The math doesn't lie. Silver's at $91, but the miners are stuck in the past. This disconnect is being forced by a massive options expiration tomorrow, January 16th. The operating leverage of the miners makes them the most undervalued sector in the entire market right now. The numbers don't match the price, and when that gap closes, it's going to be a wild ride. Tomorrow is the day the paper market meets physical reality. So, here's what I want you to do. Stay sharp, stay disciplined. Don't let the noise distract you from the signal. The opportunity is right in front of you. The math is clear. The setup is there. Now, we just have to see if the market agrees. If you want to understand the deeper mechanics at play, how the banks are suppressing the miners, how this all fits into the larger picture, check out my deep dive on the COMEX inventory squeeze. The next 24 hours could change everything. If something big happens, I'll be back with an update. But until then, stay frosty, keep your eyes on the prize. This is just the beginning.